2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock.
Hello, my name is Bill Haley, and this is for Haley 2024, The Movement's Government Reform Ideas. Now, I'm going to show you on this video how we're going to radically change the foundational structure of government. Now, what I'm going to do is take a breather on this one. I just did about a 4-minute long video. Could not go in depth on anything. I can't really go in depth on this one. It'll take me 2 or 3 hours to really tell you what I need to say. And I have hundreds of hours of video on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook. It's all on my website, as well embedded in my website. So go to my website at haley2024.org and see everything. But I'm just going to try to give you an overview right now of what we're talking about, how we change the foundations of government. So I'm going to go through it rapidly. There's a lot more out there, but I'm going to take a little bit more of a breather than my 4-minute introduction I just did in October 2021. Okay, we're going to go to competitive governance. So I choose how I want to be governed. You choose how you want to be governed. As long as you have 5% of the people, you can join together. 5% of the people of your state or the locality or the federal government, you join together and you govern your responsibilities. What government had government responsibilities, if you can do it yourselves within your group, then you're not under the monopolized governance. You might have a little bit of societal oversight over you. Make sure you're not getting too far out and causing significant negative externalities. But this is going to be the least amount of government. The least amount of government to have significant liberty and also to withstand any type of foreign foes, or make sure we have a rule of law and make sure we don't try to take justice out physically by going out and shooting and fighting and the like. We have a structure to allow us to live civilly together. So let's keep on going. The first thing that's a radical change is we're going to separate all government power into 30 sectors. I have 15 up on the screen right now, and I'll show you 15 more in the next screen. But top level elected leaders, or CRAs per sector. So nobody over top of police are going to be the same people. They're not going to be the same people over top of family law. The people who are in the executive department or the legislative department or judicial department of the military is not going to be the same one over prisons. Here's 15 more. The people who are legislating on healthcare are not the same one as legislating on insurance or media and communication, land and water, identity. I'm sorry. So everybody has their top level elected leaders, and every one of these has a full CRA system with a sector and 12 CRAs that you get to choose from. So let's go through the system real quick, then we'll come back to all 15 in a minute. So 90% of everything we do are going to be right here at the CRA level. Roughly 12 of them, they're full governmental units, executive, legislative, and judicial powers. So that's highly important to understand that what a CRA is. That's 90% of everything. They're going to be governing you. You pick yours, your neighbor picks theirs, and within your membership, you elect your leaders. Then they govern only within their membership. So everybody has to be governed, but they only govern within their membership. So important to understand that. Only when you start getting significant negative externalities or a few societal oversight roles do you go up to the sector board level. About 10% of the stuff has to go right there. And those are going to need a 70% vote on the most part. Unless it's just structural in nature and just to set up the system without regulation or controlling people, then it's a 70% vote. And the parent sector board, just because it's up top does not mean they have the most power. They don't have any regulatory power. They basically state whether the sector board or the CRA has that power. And they also state constitutionally, they have to abide by the Constitution. And we have a full Constitution to correct this. It's all on my website. To create this. So whether it's at the sector board level or the CRA level, and whether it's insurance or finances, or whether it's healthcare or education, where's the lines? There's going to be some gray areas. The parent sector board defines it. They put that line in between there and determines what CRA is going to regulate insurance versus healthcare. I know they overlap a little bit. Totally understand that. But they're going to be able to make those lines. And you're going to want to get a healthcare and a banking and insurance that all work together. When you pick your CRA, if you're conservative, you might go with more of the Heritage Foundation grouping, if they choose to group it, or the Brookings Institute philosophy grouping those CRAs together. So whether you have Republicans, Democrats, Heritage Foundations, Brookings Institute, Libertarians, Green Party, Socialists, they all can have their own CRA. They can all be governed. They can only govern within their memberships. That's taxing and taxing. I'm going to call it CRA fees, or whether it's regulating. They can only affect their members. Okay, so a CRA only strictly governs when they're within their sector. So if you're education, that CRA only governs education-related material. And everybody has to join a CRA. And again, between 5 and 15% of the a full sector. So if your grouping gets too big, you just split into two like-minded groupings together. And then you have distinct legal entities governing you. And you elect your legislative, executive, and judicial leaders of your CRA. And again, CRAs only govern their members. Let's keep on going. 10% of the time, we're going to have some societal oversight, authorizing people to be with inherent government power, such as police, judges, prison guards, the military, and the like. So 2 of the sectors are going to be doing that alone. One of the sectors is going to be commander-in-chief. The other diplomats, that has to be speaking in one voice. So that's monopolized representative level. They still get elected, but that's everybody to be over the top commander-in-chief, over the top diplomat. Everybody, all the different CRAs sends up diplomats, but one has to end up being the top. One has to end up being the top commander-in-chief. There's basically 6 or so of the sectors that have primary authority at the sector board level, monopolized sector board level. And these sector boards are made up of CRAs sending representatives up there. So your CRA is going to have representation. You will have representation. Right now, you elect somebody and your person doesn't win. Do you really have representation? Can one congressman represent somebody who is on the left and the right at the same time, who is pro-war and anti-war at the same time? He can only vote for yes on war or no on war. He can't just say 58% of my people support war, so we're going to vote yes for 58% of my vote, and 42% don't, so 42% of my vote goes no. They can't do that right now. That's not the way it works. If your person does not win, and I'm even talking, go back to the primaries. How many people did not want Donald Trump in the primary? But he was a candidate for the Republicans, so that was their only choice unless they wanted to go to the Democrat. And the same thing on the Democrats. Joe Biden wasn't everybody's top choice. A lot of people want Bernie Sanders or somebody else over there. So if your top choice does not get elected, are you really represented? That's a rabbit hole. I explain that with videos and write-ups within my website about are you really represented. Anyway, sector board everybody, all the CRAs, the members of CRAs, elect and select and send up legislative representatives to the sector board level. Go to those pages and I really go through it. It's within my constitution. It's within my pages. So look at that. The RA, rating agencies, they're basically going to say, I think this CRA is doing wonderful. This one's not doing wonderful. And they're going to give them a rating between 1 and 100. 100 being the best, 1 being the worst. And most likely, anything below 40 is probably going to be have a rating floor. You cannot go below 40 because you're starting to cause too many negative externalities. You are polluting too much, or you're not behaving yourself with using military weapons, and we're going to pull that authority away from you to use military weapons. We're talking tanks and F-18s or whatever. So they all have to be authorized. There's so many checks and balances within this system, a lot more than the current system. But everybody will belong to a RA, and they're going to give they will subjectively determine what ratings go with every business or every CRA at least. Now the rating system is where the rating floors come into place, and they can stop negative externalities. But it has to be a significant negative externality before they can put a rating floor on there. So we don't want somebody going out there and polluting too much, and that can stop it. One regulation really puts a hamper on the free enterprise system because there's so many ways to stop pollution. So once you put that piece of regulation out there, it's very hard to have a good free enterprise system around that, because it boxes people into one business model too often. I know you can do it a little bit different ways, but the rating floor is going to allow a lot of businesses to do it significantly differently and try to stay above that rating floor. And the higher you get above that rating floor, the more consumers are going to be willing to buy your product. So it's a full system, and you're going to have to look at that. The rating system parent sector board, they're not going to do that much. They're just going to make sure the rating system is going to stay within their boundaries, and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. The RAs and the rating system. The rating agencies and the rating system. Okay, let me go over the 30 sectors real quick. You see 15 up on the screen right now. We get rid of government welfare altogether. We go to a charity system. You have to contribute to a charity. It's within the system. So there's going to be about $1 trillion. I stated at 5% of GDP that you have to contribute towards helping the poor. But there's a structure to that. The foreign protection system, the top diplomat's going to be a different guy than the top commander-in-chief. So whether it's whoever it is, we have different people over top of as a top diplomat and top commander-in-chief. The other three are not really in the command structure or doing anything. The one's over top of the military, but that goes significantly to the free enterprise system, and we got ways to make sure that goes well. Accountability, oversight, we swear allegiance, we have that covered within the system. The military capability system is going to create a free enterprise system for the military, where you can have private sector military corporations where their products going to be providing military capabilities to America, and commanded only by the commander-in-chief. Military authorization agencies, that's going to be an important one. Anybody wanting authority to use weapons, aircraft carriers, F-18s, huge weapons. Anybody who wants to be part of the military, they have to be authorized to be part of that. The violent crime mitigation system, we go significantly into the free enterprise system with that, with very high standards, accountability, higher standards than we currently have. And the free enterprise comes into place with being efficient and productive. Not necessarily we have to keep standards up. They have to respect civil liberties. They have to respect process. But there's better ways than we are doing it right now. This is a better structure, better accountability. So let's keep on going. Even private sector prisons, again, a higher standards than we currently have right now. We separate all government power into 30 sectors. Here are some more. 2 in the healthcare, 2 in the banking. I got a phenomenal monetary policy where we go competitive money, and we'll have well over 1,000 different currencies with one standard and make our currency so much better than it is right now. Inflation will be gone. My system cannot have inflation. Insurance, food, education, private sector education, or just consider this. You get to select your school board. Now, there'll be private sector school boards where it'll be just very mild oversight over private schools, very mild. Just making sure you are doing things somewhat properly, making sure the kids are being educated. But they're just letting the private schools do what they want to do. And that's taxes and benefits. Okay, manufacturing, human resource and sales, that's a taxing sector for the military. So you still could use taxes. I'm sorry, got a cough. Okay, identity, we put a lot of stuff into the identity. They do elections. They do identity. So there's a lot of stuff they do, ownership and the like. Environmental is an important sector. We put that as a sector board level. Work safety and disability, very important stuff there. That'll be a lot of catch-all as well as the media and communication. Those two will be kind of catch-alls for things that you don't see on here. Transportation, dealing with roads, total free enterprise roads. We can do that without a problem. Land and water, those need to be regulated, but we can do a significant amount going towards within the CRAs. We're going to have some rating floors to make sure we're doing that correctly. So, anyway, everything's easy to find on my website. Hopefully that gives you a good beginning overview of Haley 2024, that radical change of the fundamental building blocks and the foundations of government. Until the next video.